Well, you're recording.
Okay, great.
So.
Am I centered?
Yeah, no, you look great. I already framed you up.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Orbit. Today, I'm just gonna tell you what I've been up to during, what are we at, day 60? I don't even know. We're at 2 months, and I figured I would catch you up on all of the stuff, which is very little, that I've been doing during this quarantine time. Also, I'm trying to get better at vlogging. Vlogging is really difficult because I put on like this professional voice, and I just want to be more friendly. So I talked to Cheyenne, and Cheyenne told me to just talk as if I'm talking to a friend. So we're gonna catch up. First of all, as you probably know, I got furloughed, which is just a flavor of unemployment. My daytime, am I recording? I'm not recording my
Audio?
audio.
That's okay.
I'm gonna clap. I forgot to turn on my mic. It's on now, so maybe the audio sounds a little bit better. As I was saying, I was laid off from my daytime coffee job, and I immediately applied for unemployment benefits. This was a good idea in the long term because I was able to get my benefits before like the huge wave happened. My other coworkers actually have had a lot of trouble getting their unemployment benefits, probably just because they were in the like millions that applied afterwards, so they may have got lost in the system, who knows. So I was super lucky. I was able to get those benefits really quickly. Initially, I thought I had to apply for jobs, so I was applying for 3 jobs a week, which was part of my unemployment claim requirements. In order to get money from Washington State, I had to apply for jobs, and I did this with regularity, but I think the most surprising thing was that for at least 2 of my job applications, when I applied, they paid me for my time to apply, which I find is ridiculous. I made a grand total of $500 in just applying to jobs. Which was great. If you're curious, what jobs are these? They're all in tech. If you tech money, they have the money to spare. So just try applying for tech jobs and you might get paid for your efforts. So I've been trying to do that, and fortunately, just because I do client and freelance work, I was able to line up some gigs. Most recently, I'm doing some work for Patreon, doing a live workshop with them, all of which I've been logging into my unemployment benefits, just because the unemployment benefits are like, hey, if you're making money, you need to tell us so we don't give you more than what we need to. So I've been logging all of that because that is the law. Okay, so that's basically the unemployment gig. I'm not too pressed about it, just because me and tens of millions of people are in the same boat, and I'm just doing the best I can. I'm getting unemployment benefits. I have some small gigs, and in general, this has been a light blessing because I'm able to just sleep as much as I want, which, being a barista, doesn't happen very often. Moving on, I got a little outline. One thing that we've been doing a little bit before quarantine started, but definitely more seriously once we couldn't leave home, was that Cheyenne and I have been doing a weekly movie night. And we've been alternating picking films. So I'll choose something that's more of a Connor movie, which are just classically, just nerd boy shit, right? I don't even know if that's the way to describe it, but it's just stuff that people make fun of cis white men liking. Right, yeah. I haven't showed her any Tarantino, so that's fine.
Well, also, the thing is that I am bad at watching movies, so I haven't seen a lot of them.
So that's been the main reason that we've been doing this movie series, is because Cheyenne doesn't watch movies because of just an assortment of reasons. She just doesn't make the time. She doesn't prioritize it. Me, on the other hand, I love movies, and I've watched a lot just because my family had a weekly movie night when I was a kid. So I'm going to quickly go through the ones we've watched so far. Ponyo, Studio Ghibli, loved it. Whimsical, fun, low stakes, just beautiful, great time. As you may have guessed, that was a Cheyenne pick. And then next we watched Shawshank Redemption.
Which was incredible.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is great. I've seen it now, 3 times. And it's just, epic, episodic. It's about a, man who's stuck in prison for 20 years. So it felt like a perfect quarantine movie. Not that, this is prison by any means, but, we have all this time in solitude. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to, I don't know, spoiler. That's a huge spoiler. I'm going to edit that one out. After Pride and Prejudice, Cheyenne's fave, I was able to finally see it, and she was like, I love it. It just tears me apart, and I now get it. I see it. I know what it is. Booksmart, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Kingsman, The Secret Service, No Country for Old Men, which would... Side note on that one, I love No Country for Old Men. It's a Coen Brothers film, won a shitload of awards. Cheyenne was so mad at the ending, just because it's one of those anti-films that, gives you a very unsatisfying ending. Cheyenne was very upset. She loved it. And then most recently we watched Sweeney Todd. And that was just because I was on TikTok and the audio from one of the songs came up, and I was like, oh, I need to watch Sweeney Todd. It's it holds up. It's not great, but it's fun. TV shows. I am really excited to talk about The Expanse. I finished watching The Expanse. If you are one of my nuclear friends, I have probably mentioned The Expanse to you because it just scratched the right itch for me. Is it the best written and best acted show I've ever seen? No. Does it do sci-fi well? Yes. I like Detective Miller. Detective Miller is this noir space detective who's from the asteroid belt, and he wears a stupid hat and gets the root of a really big sci-fi phenomenon. That, and of course just all the space and alien and high stakes interplanetary politics was very good for me. Once I finished The Expanse, there was a huge hole left in my life, so I tried picking up Battlestar Galactica. However, Battlestar Galactica, I've watched maybe the first 3, including the miniseries, and it is so harrowing that during, this global crisis, I feel like I cannot watch it just because it's a little too real. The Expanse, it's high stakes, but it's a little more fun than Battlestar Galactica. Moving on. Books. I finished reading The Making of a Manager by Julie Zhu, just because when I had all this time, I was like, okay, I'm going to be productive. I'm going to learn things. And as a business therapist, I help people become their own managers. So I felt like this was a timely and just really straightforward book about how to be a manager and what it means to manage people within your business. So this was a great read and a tool I think I'm going to use in my personal practice. The next one of my friends told me to read Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows, which is a very Connor read because I love systems thinking. Some of the podcasts that I listen to, like Seth Godin's Akimbo and also 99% of Invisible, will mention systems thinking every once in a while. And this book by Donella Meadows was just a very accessible and philosophical take on how to think about systems of various complexity. It's the kind of thing I love. I think there was an afternoon where I read some aloud to Cheyenne, and she told me, she knows, I love listening to your voice. I am not sure I really care about this stuff. It's kind of dense. It's very specific. Yeah, because the language that they're using is just for a specific mode of thought that isn't for everyone. But it should be. Recently, I picked up How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan, which has been a super fun read. It's just all about magic mushrooms and LSD. a modern take on psychedelics and microdosing. In Seattle, I've seen a handful of people reading this, and I also know that Michael Pollan is a great food writer. So I was very curious what this book was like. It's awesome. It's a little bit of history, it's a little bit of personal experience, a lot of interviews with experts. Just fantastic nonfiction read if you're interested in psychedelics. Been also playing some video games. Obviously, playing Animal Crossing. This was also a huge MVP move by Cheyenne, but Cheyenne got me a Switch before quarantine happened. I know there was like a Switch shortage after, but she got me one because she wanted to play Animal Crossing with me as kind of like a anniversary gift. She hooked me up with that, and I've been playing. My island is like a 3-star island now. I'm generally not great at video games, but it's been super calming, and I'm also happy to be part of like this huge cultural phenomenon. Animal Crossing is having a moment because it came at exactly the right time. Also, in the evening, I've been playing Rocket League with my sister, which has been a lot of fun. We lose more games than we win, but what I'll do is I'll just open like Instagram video chat with my sister who lives in Austin, Texas, and we'll just, play against strangers online. And it's just really, it's like the best way to socialize under the circumstances. Because if I'm on a Zoom call with someone, there's this weird pressure because I have to look at them the entire time. And this way, if I'm just like playing video games and casually chatting with my sister, it's easy. So that's like the media that I've been consuming. Obviously, I've also been downing as much TikTok as I can handle. As far as my lifestyle, there have been some changes. I like to think of myself as an A-type person, a very productive person, and staying at home has severely compromised that. I usually get my energy from talking to other people, networking out in the real world, going to coffee shops, and now I am a couch potato. I sit on the couch a lot, and I feel very motivated to do pretty much anything. I have found that my productive hours are typically from 10 to 11. So I get about 1 hour of like meaningful work done a day. And then for the rest of it, I'm kind of just on the couch reading, which isn't a bad way to be, but it's definitely different from my usual modes. I have been cooking a lot. Cheyenne and I always watch Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, and as a result, my cooking game, just because I'm closer to my fridge, I know what we have, and thus can whip up something more easily. I've been trying to make like really fancy little cafe snacks that I would usually buy out in the real world, but now I can make them. This is just a me thing. I just been smoking weed every day, 9 p.m. and yeah, it chills me out. It's like, thank God. One important thing that I think has been instrumental in like my mental health during this time, I'm going through ups and downs. Some days I feel awful, and some days everything feels manageable and I can get some shit done. But the main thing that has helped me kind of function is going on sanity walks. I used to do it maybe a couple times a week, but now I'm doing it like every day. I'll put on a bandana, go on a walk around my neighborhood, and just being out in the world, moving my legs has been really helpful. The most awkward part about it is doing, the sidewalk dance with people, because you have to try to avoid folks who are also going on sanity walks, especially in our neighborhood, which is like a little bit suburban. I feel like I've never seen as many people out on walks until now, because everyone's at home and then no one knows what the fuck to do. The best interaction is when I like lock eyes with someone and we do the awkward wave where it's like, gee, right? But that has been super helpful, and I've been listening to music, podcasts, what have you. I hope that this serves as like just a general like time capsule for me for what I've been doing, which just ultimately isn't a lot. I would say I spent a lot of my time on the couch reading, but I've been trying to do other stuff. And surprisingly, with my business practice, people have been reaching out to me and asking me about like remote work, how to do it, how to start up Patreons and do screencasting and that kind of thing, which has been really, really heartwarming for me that people know like, I have to now like do remote work. Who should I talk to? And then I get emails. So I'm very grateful for that. And if you want any information you can email me through remotelyinteresting.work. Am I forgetting anything in terms of our COVID diaries?
I've been making a lot of bread.
Cheyenne's been making a lot of bread.
That's a me thing.
But that's a Cheyenne thing. Thanks again for listening to this, and hopefully the audio is crispy, and I will talk to you soon.